Good Wednesday evening, Southwest Arkansas. Welcome back to Southwest Arkansas weather here on Wednesday, September the 17th. Taking a look at your evening weather blog here on September the 17th. This is going to go over the 6-day forecast. Also talk about what's in store with the pattern and all of that fun stuff. And we are going to jump into the 6-day forecast first off with things. This runs from Thursday the 18th all the way to next Tuesday to the 23rd. As this current time. And as you can see, looks like it may be pretty just decent with some rain chances Thursday. We have some isolated thunderstorms possible, those summer type pop-up thunderstorms. Not everybody's going to see rain, but if you do get under a shower or two, you may have to watch for a strong thunderstorm and maybe some stronger wind gusts and maybe some small hail and some gusty winds. And like I just said, though, some heavy rainfall with that if you get under some of those heavier thunderstorms or showers. They're very isolated in nature, hit or miss, so right around 20%. Mostly sunny skies, though. High is going to be in the lower to mid 90s again. Once again, we can't rule out, I'm looking at you, Texarkana, an upper 90. Texarkana for the past 2 days has hit 100 degrees. They hit 100 degrees yesterday and then 101 degrees today. So, not saying they'll hit it again tomorrow, but you never know with Texarkana. Temperatures love to be warmer than what data always shows and just a little more than what you forecast. Just the Texarkana way, I guess, there. But forecasted high is going to range from around the mid-90s, a few lower 90s. Could be possible. Maybe a few upper 80s in the northwestern portions of the coverage area, Ouachita Mountains region. Overnight lows, though, going to be in the mid-60s across the region. Then as we go into Friday, our best chance of rainfall for this week and weekend is going to be Friday. We're going to have a disturbance move through, or just a little more of chances of some rainfall with partly cloudy skies. Highs in the upper 80s and lower 90s across the region. A 40% chance of some showers and thunderstorms. I do think rain chances can be a little higher as you go further north. We'll talk more about that in the daily morning forecast on Facebook and more on that probably tomorrow evening. Overnight low is going to be in the mid-60s once again, and as we go into Saturday and Sunday, we just kind of get closer to normal for temperatures with highs in the upper 80s. There's going to be a big split between this. You're going to have highs potentially in the lower to mid-80s across northwestern portions of the coverage area in some cases, and in the lower 90s as you go further south in the southeastern part of our region. So these high temperatures, it just depends necessarily on where you're specifically at throughout this weekend and beginning of next week. But overall, the general idea is mid 80s in northwestern portions of the coverage area, upper to upper 80s, around 90 degrees in the central portion, I-30 corridor area. And then as you go further south, closer to Texarkana, and further south, lower 90s down there. But once again, this weekend, 20% chance of some isolated pop-up thunderstorms. Mostly sunny skies on Saturday, but partly cloudy on Sunday with overnight lows in the mid-60s. Then as we go into next week, we start to kind of get a little bit more of a pattern shift, and I think we have some more organized chances of rainfall based on what we're seeing with some of the data right now. Just taking an overview of what we currently see. We could have some more of a trough-like pattern, and we can see maybe some rainfall on those 2 days, or to start off next week, 30% chances of rain on both Monday and on Tuesday of next week, with some scattered thunderstorms and mostly sunny to partly cloudy skies. Highs in the mid to upper 80s, maybe even a few lower 80s, with overnight lows in the lower 60s across the region. Real quickly, let's take a look at the data behind that. Or actually, first, let's take a look at the what Futurecast is showing. Remember, Futurecast isn't perfect. It's just one of the many tools that we use to help build forecasts. So just remember, this isn't always going to be perfect, but it just helps us get the general idea. As we go into Thursday, you can see here, this is Thursday morning, not a whole lot going on. And really, you're not going to see a whole lot until maybe that afternoon, evening. Those few pop-up thunderstorms don't necessarily take exactly where these are forming, as that's for sure what's going to happen. Just the general idea. You're going to have these that pop up across the region. Could be a little more widespread as we go into the afternoon and evening and into the overnight, or really into the evening, and then those start to decrease as we go into the next period there. Let's get to the North American model to show you just into the Friday time frame, with Friday also having those rain chances potentially throughout the day. This is a little more blobby as you get further out. The data gets a little more blobbly less high resolution, lower resolution, and it just helps us paint a picture of there's some rain chances. And then on Friday or on Saturday, not a whole lot there expected. Once again, maybe just continuing on and off there with some off and on rain chances as we go through this weekend, and we will continue to watch for that. And let's pull up now what we are currently seeing. So right now, this is the 700 millibar level HOTS or 700 millibar level analyst right now for just the upper atmosphere, middle, lower, or middle upper atmosphere right now. What you're seeing here is these wind barbs here. This is kind of this just showing you there's the center of high pressure that's sitting right over the Arklatex region right now. So right now we're under that influence of that. So you're not having a whole lot of rain chances or organized rain chances, I should say. More of those just summer type pop-up thunderstorms because of this ridge of high pressure that's pretty much centered right over the Arklatex, almost the Red River Valley and Arklatex region right there. You can kind of paint the picture with the way the winds are. A low pressure system is going to be the opposite way there with those winds, and you can see that there with that area of high pressure. Then when we just take a look at nationally, what you have right now is you have this area of high pressure above us. Right here, this is looking at the 500 millibar level HOTS, so just a little higher up in the atmosphere. But you'll notice over here off in the Carolinas, you have a low pressure system. You can see that here with the way the winds are there, and that pressure being lower there, as well as over the Dakotas and northern Nebraska. So we're kind of in this little bit of a pattern where you have this low, and you have the ridge here and that area of high pressure centered over us right now. So that's why we're seeing those 90s up, or those mid to upper 90s in some cases, and just warmer, humid conditions. Taking a look at the GFS, this is just going to show you the 500 millibar level. 500 millibar level. Give me 1 second here. Let me adjust this. The 500 millibar level. Winds and stuff of that nature. As you can see here, sorry, I'm trying to talk and adjust this at the same time. But you can see here, it shows the same general thing. You got a low pressure system over the northern Nebraska and Dakota areas, and off over here over Carolina. Well, watch what happens as we go into this weekend. You kind of start to see this ridge just get pushed a little further to the south and kind of start to see this low kind of influence in some ways further south down here across our region as we go into Friday. Those higher rain chances there being a possibility on that Friday time frame. But not a whole lot, just like this weekend. If you look, not a whole lot, but look at this. You kind of start to see a change in the pattern as we go forward into Saturday. And really, as we go into next week, you kind of start to notice we're going to be into that northwesterly flow. And that'll help us with those rain chances this weekend. But really, as we go into next week, you're going to kind of notice here, you start to get the low pressure system potentially developing a little further north of us. But that could give us some of that wind and flow out of that towards our area. And that could just help us with some chances of rainfall as we go throughout next week, if this occurs by what the GFS model is showing. But as you know, we can't just take a look at one model. But first, I do want to show you just a little lower here in the 700 millibar level HOTS. You can kind of see the same general picture here. As we go into Friday, you see just a little more influence in that northwesterly flow. As we go into Friday there, you can kind of see it start to shift more towards the northwest. And as we go into this weekend, that continues to be the case. And then we start to get more under the influence of the low pressure system as we go into next week and potentially into the middle of next week, which we'll talk about later. But that could just be a good indicator that, hey, there's going to be some chances, if that occurs, for maybe some more organized rainfall chances, some better maybe overall rainfall chances. We'll watch it though. We're going to keep a close eye on it. We could be seeing maybe a switch closer towards that. This is the European model, a little weaker on that with that low pressure system, but it still shows you, hey, maybe there's a chance of some of those low pressure systems and such are just more organized chances of rainfall potentially next week. This shows you the similar scenario or situation with the way the data is looking with that low pressure system over the Dakotas and Nebraska and over the Carolinas area. And then as you go further throughout the upcoming time frame into Friday, a little more under the influence of that northwesterly flow. And then you do see maybe just more of a trough-like scenario here as we go into Monday, this dip in the jet stream or in the pressures and in that flow out of the northwest. That'll, once again, a good indicator that maybe there could be some rain chances, maybe a low pressure system as we go towards Wednesday of next week. So if this occurs, which right now there's some decent agreement that, hey, there's going to be some organized, potentially some organized overall chances of rainfall as we go into the into next week. This weekend right now, like we said, though, not expecting too much. Really, our rain chances are greatest on Friday. With that being said, though, it's gonna continue to be those more summer-like pattern with those hit or miss showers and storms on Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday. Then maybe some more organized rainfall chances as we go into Monday and Tuesday of next week. But that's just a quick overview of what we're seeing. Trying to explain that basic as we can. It gets a little harder to do that, but as always, we want to say big thanks to all of our sponsors: Patterson's Credit Union, Southern Dumpster Rental, Landmark Insurance Agency, Palmer's Roofing, and J&S Auto Supply. Bumper to bumper. Make sure to check them all out as well. As always, check us out over on Facebook, Instagram, here on YouTube, and TikTok. And if you like what you see, hit that follow button and hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime we upload a video here on YouTube. And as always, thank you guys very much. Have a great rest of your Wednesday night. See you back here tomorrow evening for another look at what's in store for your evening weather blog, where we take a first look at the Friday Night Lights football forecast, as well as the 6-day forecast and any new changes to the upcoming pattern and more. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and thank you guys very much for trusting us right here at your source for all things Southwest Arkansas weather.